What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and today I'm going to be showing you guys why the bench press is never going to get your chest any bigger. All right, guys, so when it comes to building up your chest, a lot of people associate it with a bench press. And honestly, bench press is a great upper body exercise to build size and strength. It's a great compound movement. But if you're specifically trying to target your chest, which is what most of us are trying to do when we are doing a bench press or when we have a bench press in mind, a bench press is never going to isolate your chest like you want it to. When it comes to a bench press, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going down and you're going to be pushing up. Yeah. So what's that going to do? It's going to work a lot of your chest. It's also going to work a lot of your front delt, your anterior deltoid, and it's also going to work a lot of your tricep. So if you're working all three of these muscles, which is also called a compound movement, you're going to be preventing any kind of chest isolation that you would have, or basically just optimizing what kind of exercise you could be doing if you're really trying to isolate your chest muscle. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean here in a second. But before I get into showing you exactly what I mean, I want to explain how the chest works real quick. So when it comes to your chest muscle, you can break it down into either 2 heads or 3 heads. If you're going to break it down into 3 heads, what you have, so basically your chest originates from your humerus, your upper arm bone. So your chest is going to originate right about here, okay? What's going to happen is you have your upper chest, which is also called your clavicular head. It basically attaches up to your clavicle, which is up here. And then you're going to have your sternal head, which is going to basically run across the middle, and that's going to take up the largest portion of your chest. And then you're going to have what you could call your abdominal head, which would be your lower chest. So you have your lower, your middle, and your upper chest. Well, when you're doing bench press, you have to realize that let's back up a second. If you're trying to hit your chest, how do you work a muscle? You work a muscle by shortening the muscle, by bringing where the muscle originates to where the muscle inserts. And you want to basically make that as close as possible. So you're going to be basically, how do you get this part of your arm to this part of your chest? It's by basically bringing your elbow in. So if you're doing a bench press, what are you doing? Your hands, let me show you. So if I'm trying to bring my elbows from the outside to the inside, basically trying to get this part of my arm as close to the midline of my body, to bring that across, to shorten that muscle and lengthen it, because that's how you're going to break down muscle fibers. How do you do that when your hands are in a fixed position on a barbell? Let me show you. So if I'm trying to hit my chest and I'm trying to shorten my muscle across my body, there's a very limited amount of range of motion that I can do when I'm doing a bench press. So I'm going to have perfect form here. I'm going to roll my shoulders back, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to press this weight up. As you can see, my elbows don't do very much at all when it comes to bringing them across my body to shorten my muscle. So what's going to happen is, a lot of times if you're trying to build up your chest and you're doing a lot of bench press, a lot of you are probably finding that you're building up a really big anterior deltoid. And that's because when you're going down, your anterior deltoid, your delt basically works in a motion. So your delt originates from up here in your scapula and goes down again into your humerus. So what your deltoid does is it basically allows you to bring your arms up to the side, which would work your lateral head, your medial head, or it's going to bring it up to the front, or it's going to bring it across. So if you're trying to work your chest and you're doing a bench press, what you're going to find is you're going down, and as you bring your elbow from down to the side, up to the top, from here to here is going to be primarily working your deltoid, because your deltoid basically attaches to your humerus and then up to your scapula. So going down from the bottom up to the top is going to be primarily anterior deltoid, not your chest. So instead, when you're trying to hit your chest, you really want to focus on basically flaring those elbows out, getting them out as wide as possible, and then bringing them down. And then when you bring them up together, you want to focus on basically pushing your elbows forward, pushing your elbows up while keeping your hands directly on top of your elbows, pushing them up, and then bringing your elbows together. Forget about the weight that's in your hand. You want to focus on getting them out wide, getting that stretch on your chest, getting that tension, and then pushing out while your elbows are basically out, not bringing it in. And a lot of times when you see guys doing bench press, you see them basically have the weight real in close to their body, and that's going to be working a lot of your anterior delt and your triceps. You actually want to flare out your elbows. And also, the first thing before I actually mention any of that, what I want you guys to realize, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this in the comments saying that you're going to mess up your shoulders if you flare your shoulders out or you flare your elbows out. Yes, if you're using the same weight. So I want you guys to drop weight. If you guys are using 80 pounds on, I'd probably go 50, 60, maybe 70 while flaring my elbows out, because your shoulders are in a weakened position when you have your elbows flared out. They're not in a position where they're very stable, so you have to drop the weight. But when you're doing this, you want to flare your elbows out, and you want to push as you keep your elbow. You basically want to act like you're pushing outwards of your body. And then as you bring them together, you want to focus on bringing your elbows together at the top, getting that peak contraction of your chest. And then that inner portion is actually what's going to hit it. So the outside is going to get the stretch, but it's also going to be working some of the anterior deltoid. The top, when you bring the weight together, which is why you can't do it on a bench press, why you have to use dumbbells, the top when you bring it together is what's actually going to get that, basically bring the origination point to the insertion point, bringing those points closer together, which is actually going to work the muscle. So I'll show you. So when I'm doing a regular barbell bench press, this is what it looks like. You see this. So let's say my hands are in a fixed position on the bar. This is what you're going to see. What are my elbows doing? This is going to be working primarily my front delt, because like I said, your front delt works from getting it out to the side and bringing it in towards your midline basically. But if you're going to basically work on so instead of this, what you want to do is you want to basically flare your elbows out, bringing this weight out, almost over exaggerating the weight, how far you go out. Again, drop the weight so you don't hurt yourself. Flare the weight out, flare your elbows out, go down, get that stretch on your chest, and then as you push back up, you want to keep your elbows out, and then you want to focus on squeezing your elbows together, getting that peak contraction on your chest, bringing them together at the top, not resting here. I'm squeezing my chest here. I'm not resting like this. There's a big difference between this and this. So squeezing at the top, bringing them back out, bringing them down, getting that stretch, bringing them back up. And that right there was 10 times harder than when I was just bouncing out the reps. So as you can see, just because of where the muscle originates and where it inserts, doing a regular bench press where your hands are in a fixed position on the bar is never going to build up your chest like you're expecting it to. That's why you have these overdeveloped anterior front delt. This part right here is more developed than your chest, because you're not actually shortening the muscle like it needs to be shortened, because you're not bringing your elbows together. So I hope that video helps, guys. If you guys want a program that has tons of tips like this included, you have to check out my free physique builder tool that matches you up with the program that is right for your specific body. It gives you the training, the diet plan, the supplementation advice that you need. It even gives you 3 free tips that you don't even have to buy anything. But if you want to get the program that it matches you up with after that, that's your choice. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out by clicking the link in the description below. Other than that, guys, if you have any questions, concerns, videos you want me to make, comment them in the comment section below. Other than that, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when I'm releasing new videos. And thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.